Still very tight at the top of the table over in the Premier League, of course, as Liverpool remain number one. But breathing down the next, City, Arsenal, Villa, and maybe even Spurs. We're going to take a little look next. That's right, folks. Once again, another prediction video today. We'll take a look at match number 22 in the Premier League, and we'll get to that in a second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe button back at all things Premier League related, Black Rose related, world football related. We're going to all hear, boys. Under one Brewski, of course, Liverpool. Benchmark result there, of course, against Bournemouth most recently. Top in the table with, of course, City and Arsenal also picking up good results in the past few days. But, of course, focus a little bit crazy at the moment with the FA Cup in the background, of course. But, of course, Premier League will return with some midweek madness. We'll get into that, all of it in a second. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons. You know who you are. And again, if you're new, subscribe. Your one-stop shop for the Premier League continues here. As, of course, we recap the results then, shall we? Let's recap the results. Again, Super Brew should be back. Even though just keep on continuing what you're doing, should be back to normality next time we see you, of course. Anyway, this is what's been going on in a bit of a weird Premier League week, of course, split over the course of a couple of weekends. Chelsea against Fulham ended up as a 1-0 win for Chelsea. I went with a 3-1 win myself. The Geordies against City, 3-2 win in the end. Good result for City, of course. Everton against Villa. I went with a 2-1 win for Villa. 0-0 draw it was in the end. United against Spurs, 2-2. Got that one bang on the nose. Meanwhile, Burnley against Luton Town. Happy days with that one. A big point in the bag for Luton Town. I went with the 2-0 win for Burnley. Happy days to be proven wrong. Arsenal, 5-0 demolition job of Crystal Palace. I went with a 3-1 win myself. Brentford, 3-2 winners over Forest. I went with a 2-1 win, 8-2 shabby on that one either. Sheffield United with a 2-2 draw. I went with a 1-1 draw. Of course, Bournemouth got taken care of by Liverpool, 4-0 there, 2-0 win in my eyes. And this game, it's not going. I am recording this ahead of this game. I've got to get the games out there, or the videos out there. So I did predict Brighton to beat Wolves 2-1. If I'm right, we'll see one other time, of course. But let's have a quick do the math here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those pretty much bang on the money. Pretty much bang on the money. I tell you what, I'm pretty good at this prediction lot. Anyway, that's of course the situation with those games. What about the situation with, of course, the table? Well, let's have a quick look at the table then, shall we? Of course, let's bring it onto the screen about now. As you can see, Liverpool are top of the charts with 48 points right now. City up there in second spot with 43. They have a game in hand. They can close that gap to, 2 points. Arsenal there in third. Villa up there as well, still hanging on in there for a Champions League crack. And, of course, Spurs also want themselves in the mixer for that Champions League as well. It is a spice. It's a good top four race. Happy to see it. Look at West Ham doing A-OK as well. United, Brighton, Chelsea still there. Newcastle had a bit of a shit season. And, of course, going down, Sheffield United, Burnley and Luton. We'd love to see it. Love to see it. If Everton hadn't had them points deduction, they would have been up there in sixth spot. Would you, Adam and Eve it? So, well done to Daesh. Of course, who'd have thunk me ever say that? But anyway, that's of course the situation in the table. What about the games then? Well, the games are here. Of course, it's a very, very scattergun Premier League matches, of course. Now, these will take place from Tuesday the 30th of January all the way through to the 1st of Feb, which I think that's transfer deadline day. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we'll talk about all that whenever that comes around. But of course, don't forget that the Brighton Wolves game is still floating around there. Though those numbers and the form and everything could have a little bit of bearing of what goes on with these games. But we're going to talk about Forest against Arsenal coming up on Tuesday, January the 30th. Let's get into this one then, shall we? At the City Ground. Of course, under Nuno Espirito Santo now, Forest 15 times. These two sides have played each other since 1994. We've got 4 wins for Forest, 9 wins for Arsenal, 2 draws, of course. The biggest win for Forest, 4-2 win, scoring 13 goals in those 15 games, 0.87 goals a game on average. Arsenal, though, 5-0 win, their biggest, 29 goals scored in those 15 games, 1.93 goals a game. Arsenal, though, 42% form for them right now. Bit of a bump of the road, just 1 win in 5. Third in the table with 43 points on the board. Up against Forest, who are 16th in the table with 20 points. 58% form for them, of course, heading into this one. Last round, over at the City Ground, it was a 1-0 win for Forest. That was back in May 2023. But the odds right here, right now, we've got Forest 7-1 for the victory, 9-4 on at Arsenal. 16-5 is, of course, your draw here. Back in Arsenal here, not going to be pretty. 2-1 win. You can just about see it there. 2-1 win in the end for Arsenal to take it to the house. Next up, we have Luton Town up against Brighton coming at you at Kenilworth Road. Of course, Luton trying to fight for their lives, of course. 10 times they played each other since 2003, 4 wins apiece and 2 draws. Biggest win for Luton, there was a 3-0 win, scoring 16 goals in total over the course of those 10 games, 1.60 goals a game on average. Brighton, though, 4-1 win, their biggest, 17 goals scored in 10 matches, 1.70 goals a game on average. Both sides on 67% form for them at the moment. Brighton just 1 defeat in the last 6, 8th in the table with 31 points on the board. Up against the Luton Town side, also 1 defeat in the last 6, 6-7% form for them as well. 18th in the table with 16 points on the board as well. Last time round, over in Luton in competitive league action, it was a 2-1 win for Brighton way back in April 2008. Of course, the odds here for this one, though, Luton is 7-2 for the victory, 13-8 on is your Brighton. Of course, 7-2 is your draw. Surprise, surprise here, guys. Going to go with a Luton Town victory here. They are scrapping for their lives. They're fighting for every single point. I think they're going to scrap this one and get a big victory and maybe, just maybe, prove us all wrong about their relegation fight. Meanwhile, Fulham up against Everton, of course, coming at you at Craven Cottage. Now, these two sides have played each other 38 times. 2001, we've got 15 wins for Fulham, 19 wins for Everton, 4 draws, of course. Now, the biggest win for Fulham, that was a 3-1 win, scoring 48 goals in 38 matches, 1.26 goals a game on average. Of course, Everton, though, 4-0 win, their biggest, 63 goals scored in 38 matches, 1.66 goals a game. Everton, 33% form for them right now, unbeaten in the last 3. They are 17th for the table with 17 points on the board. So hang on a minute. Maybe what I was saying there about finishing 7th, that's a load of bullshit. That league was without the points deduction, so scrap whatever I just said about that. So they've got 17 points right now. They would have had 27 points. Whatever. Anyway, they're on 17th in the table, 17 points on the board. Up against Fulham, of course, who are 13th with 24 points on the board. Last time these two sides played each other at Craven Cottage, it was a 0-0 draw back in October 2022. In fact, the home side hasn't won this game since Fulham beat Everton way back in April 2019. Now, these two sides have played each other twice already this season. It was a 1-0 win for Fulham in Everton at Goodison Park back in August 2023. They also played in the quarter-final of the EFL Cup. Fulham coming out on top on penalty. So back-to-back wins for Fulham this season, of course. But the odds right here, right now, we've got Fulham 29-20 for the victory, 9-4 is the draw, 15-8 is, of course, your Everton. I think I've gone with Fulham again on this one. 2-1 win, tails are up. Everton, of course, still got a lot of work to do to really save, to wrap up this season and kind of put any fear of relegation to bed, because Forest have changed managers. Luton, of course, are scrapping. Burnley will probably change managers, I think, soon to try and save their season. Sheffield United have also changed the manager. So Everton got to keep on grinding. Meanwhile, we've got Aston Villa taking on a Newcastle United coming at you on Tuesday, the 30th of January. Now, these two sides have played each other 56 times since 1993. We've got 12 wins for Villa, 26 wins for Newcastle, 18 draws, of course, the biggest win for Villa. 3-0 win, scoring 55 goals in 56 games, 0.98 goals a game. The Geordies, 6-0 win, their biggest, 82 goals scored in 56 games, 1.46 goals a game. However, Newcastle, 17% form for them right now, just 1 win of the last 6. They are 10th with 29 points on the board. Jose Mourinho is coming. Jose Mourinho is coming. I believe it. I believe it. Eddie Howe is under pressure here. Of course, Champions League last season, all the way down into 10th right now, 29 points on the board right now. Jose Mourinho is on his way. Meanwhile, Villa are coming at you 67% form for them right now, 4th in the table, 43 points on the board, just 1 defeat at the last 6. Last time around, over at Villa Park, it was a 3-0 win for Aston Villa back in April 2023. They also played each other opening day. Big 5-1 win it was for the Geordies, but those days seem long, long gone. Meanwhile, Villa, 20-19 on for the victory, 12-5 is your Geordies, 14-5 of course is your draw. Aston Villa, 3-0 win, bit of revenge there. And of course, job done the same. Meanwhile, Man City are taking on Burnley, of course, on Wednesday, January the 31st. Now, these two sides have played each other 23 times to 2001. We've got 19 wins for City, 1 win for the Freaks, 3 draws, of course. The biggest win for City, 6-0 win. Hopefully we'll get one of those this week. 75 goals scored in 23 matches, 3.26 goals a game on average. Burnley, one and only win was a 1-0 win, scoring 15 goals in 23 matches, 0.65 goals a game on average. 25% form for Burnley right now, 19th at the table with 12 points on the board. Up against the City side, 100% form for them, winning 6 on the bounce, of course. Last time around, it was that 6-0 win for City. Love to see it. I was in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup back in March 2023. The last time I played each other, though, in the league over at the Etihad was a 2-0 win for City back in October 2021. The odds here for this one, 11-1 on is your City, 18-1 is your Burnley, and 9-1 is, of course, the draw here. 4-0 win, City taking the house to the cleaners here. Spurs up against Brentford, of course, coming at you on Wednesday, the 31st of January. Here we go. Played each other 6 times since 2021. 2 wins for Spurs, 1 for Brentford, 3 draws, of course, the biggest win for Tottenham. A 2-0 win, scoring 9 goals in 6 games, 1.50 goals a game on average. Brentford, of course, big win last time around, 3-1 win, though. Their biggest over Spurs, 7 goals scored in 6 games, 1.17 goals a game on average. Brentford up to 14th right now, 22 points on the board, 25% form for them right now. Spurs, 5th, 40 points on the board, just 1 defeat in the last 6, 75% form heading into this one. Last time round, over at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it was a 3-1 win for Brentford back in May 2023. They did play each other on match day number 1. It was a 2-2 draw back in August. The odds here, though, 7-4 on is your Spurs, 16-5 is the draw, 17-4 is your away win. That's Brentford. Spurs will win this one, 2-0 win, piece of cake, points to the bag. Next up in the game of the day, though, of course, game of the week is Liverpool. It's Chelsea over at Anfield. Now, these two sides have played each other 85 times in 1993. We've got 30 wins for Liverpool, 31 wins for Chelsea, 24 draws, of course, Spurs. Spurs not in this one. Liverpool, 5-1 win, their biggest, 124 goals scored in any 5 matches, 1.46 goals a game. Meanwhile, Chelsea, biggest win, 4-0 win, 123 goals scored in those 85 games, 1.45 goals a game on average. Chelsea, 4 wins the last 5, 6-7% form for them right now, 9th in the table, 31 points on the board. Up against the what the fuck am I talking about? Up against the Liverpool side, 92% form for them right now, winning 5 on the spin. Of course, top of the table, 48 points on the board as well. Last time around, though, over at Anfield, it was a nil draw back in January 2023. In fact, the home side hasn't won this game since Liverpool beat Chelsea back in July 2020 in the Prem de la Prem, of course. But the odds for here, Liverpool are 22-13 on for the victory, 3-1 is the draw, 15-4 is your Chelsea here. I'm going to go with a 3-1 win for Liverpool. Job done, 3 points in the bag, and we'll see if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Next up, we have West Ham up against Bournemouth, of course, West Ham. But you're doing A-OK up against a Bournemouth side, hanging on in there as well. Taking place at the London Stadium on the 1st of February, of course. Now, these two sides have played each other 15 times. 2013 got 6 wins for West Ham, 5 for Bournemouth, 4 draws, of course. The biggest win for the Hammers, 4-0 win, scoring 32 goals in those 15 games, 2.13 goals a game on average. Bournemouth, though, biggest win for them, 5-3 win, scoring 24 goals in 15 matches, 1.60 goals a game on average. Of course, Bournemouth under Andro Iraola, 67% form for them right now, 12th in the table, 25 points on the board. Up against the Hammers side, 6th in the table, 35 points on the board, without a win, though, in the last 4 for West Ham, 58% form for them heading into this one. Last time around, though, over at London Stadium, it was a 2-0 win for West Ham back in October 2022. But the odds for this one, we have the Hammers, 13-10 for the victory, 14-5 is, of course, the draw. We have 7-4 is your away win. That's, of course, Bournemouth. We're going to go with a 2-1 win for West Ham. That's right. Have I talked about Chelsea? Crystal Palace. Did I talk about that game? It feels like I just blitzed right away through that one. And then, of course, wrapping it up, it is Wolverhampton Wanderers against Manchester United. I've got a feeling I skipped that Crystal Palace game. But anyway, if I did, Crystal Palace will beat Sheffield United 2-1. I don't know why. I just feel like I didn't talk about that. Next, of course, we have Wolves against Manchester United coming at Molineux. That'll be on the 1st of February as well. Played 25 times since 2003. We've got 5 wins for Wolves, 60 wins for United, 4 draws, of course. The biggest win for Wolves, 1-0 win, scoring 15 goals in 25 matches, 0.60 goals a game on average. United, 5-0 win, the biggest, 37 goals scored in 25 matches, 1.48 goals a game. Now 50% form for United at the moment. 1-2 lost to and drawn to. They are 7th with 32 points on the board. Up against the Wolves side, 75% form for them right now. 11th in the table, 28 points on the board. Unbeaten in the last 5. Picking up 4 wins in the last 5 as well. Last round, though, at Molineux was a 1-0 win for United back in December 2022. Of course, the bookies odds here, we have 70-10 is your Wolves, 13-5 is your draw, 7-5 is, of course, your Manchester United here. I'm going to go with the 2-0 win for United. Even though Wolves have been absolutely fantastic, I think United will have too much in the tank for them not to lose this match. So that's, of course, my take on it. And this is what the table will look like at the end of it. Liverpool top, City will be 2nd, Arsenal 3rd, Villa 4th, and Spurs 5th, as you were pretty much. And Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United going down. But it's getting tight with Luton, Nottingham Forest, and Brentford all in that discussion. Crystal Palace have also got to keep their heads above water as well. That's, of course, my take. Let me know your own take, of course, down below. And, of course, keep on predicting with the Super Bowl. We should be back to normality next time we see me. But until then, subscribe, thumbs up. Catch you later for the next one. Until then, we're done.